Welcome to What's Math. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and share my videos. This video will focus on system of inequalities solving by graphing. Solving by graphing. Step 1. Graph each inequality just like an equation. Important. If it's less than or if it's greater than, you need to use a broken line. If it's greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, you need to use a solid line. Step 2. Shade the correct region. There are only 4 possibilities for all linear lines. The first one is if it's a negative slope and it's going down to the right. Pretend that this is a hill and you're drawing a little man on the hill or a little girl or whatever, an animal, a cat on the hill. The person will be walking down the hill on that side because no one walks upside down. So therefore, that's the greater than side and the other side will be the less than side. So whatever side the person is walking on is your greater than side. If it's a positive slope and it's going up to the right, your person will be walking up the hill on this side and that would be the greater than side and the bottom would be the less than side. If it's a horizontal line, it's like the floor and you walk on top of the floor. So that would be the greater than sign and that would be the less than side. If it's vertical, the right side is always greater than and the left side is always less than because it's always be right to get the biggest slice of the pie. Right? Answer. The overlapped shaded region. So the shaded section that they have in common. Solve the system of inequality by graphing. Y is less than or equal to negative 4 over 5x plus 2 and y is less than 3 over 4x plus 1. Let's graph the first one. Let's remind ourselves of the steps first. If you're having problem with graphing or you need more clarification, please check out my video on graphing linear equations. Because you're going to graph them as if they are linear equations. Y is by itself, so therefore I'm going to locate the y-intercept, which will be the constant by itself. So that 2 goes automatically on the y-axis. Then I'm going to locate the slope, which is negative 4 over 5. Remember, because the slope is negative, only one is negative. Either you make the top negative or the bottom negative. Both cannot be negative. So it's either the numerator or the denominator. And it's going to mean down 4 and 5 to the right. So from my y-intercept, I'm going to go down 4 units and 5 to the right. And I'm going to place a point. I'm going to use a straight edge and I'm going to draw my line. But be careful because it's less than or equal to, that means I need to use a solid line. So I can go ahead and draw a solid line. Make sure you check the line that you're using. If you use the wrong line, then your answer is incorrect. If that was a hill, my little man will be running down the hill on this side. So that makes it the greater than side and the other side the less than side. Remember, it's always about the y, the isolated variable. So y is less than. So because it says y is less than or equal to, so it's less than. So we need to shade the less than section. So that piece needs to be shaded. Now let's graph the second inequality. Y is less than 3 over 4x minus 6. Y is isolated, so I'm going to locate the y-intercept, which is negative 6, and that goes straight to the y-axis. Then I'm going to locate my slope, which is 3 over 4, and it actually means 3 up and 4 to the right. So 3 up and 4 to the right. 3 up and 4 to the right from my y-intercept. So I'm going to go 3 and then 4 to the right. I'm going to place my point. And because it's y that is less than, we need to use a broken line. If that was a hill, my little man will be walking up the hill on this side, so that makes it the greater than and the other side the less than. And let's read this from the y. Y is less than. So that means I need to shade the less than section of the region of the graph. And as you can see, both of them overlap in the lower part, and that is technically your answer. So you could erase the parts that's not your answer or just shade that piece extra bright. As you can see, the colors change is darker in that section, and that is the correct section. Solve the system of inequality by graphing. X is greater or equal to -2 and y is greater or equal to 4/3x plus 2. Remember, if you're having problem with graphing, go back and check my videos on graphing linear equation. So let's go ahead and graph the first one. The first one is there's no y, so therefore the first thing we want to do is to take that -2 and place it on the x-axis. So that's your x-intercept. And because there's no y, it's a vertical line. And we need to check what kind of line we're using. It is greater than or equal to, so I need to use a solid line. So I'm going to draw a vertical line through that point using a straight edge. Remember, the right side is always greater than and the left side is going to be less than when it comes to vertical lines. Let's read it. X is greater than. So therefore I need to shade the greater than section. Let's graph the second inequality. Y is by itself, so therefore I'm going to look for the y-intercept, and it's +2. That goes straight to the y-axis. Then I'm going to locate the slope, which is 4/3, which means up 4 and 3 to the right. So from that y-intercept, I'm going to go up 4 units and then 3 units to the right, and I'm going to place a point. I'm going to double check is y is greater than or equal to, so I need to use another solid line. If that was my hillside, the little man will be walking up the hill on that side. That makes it the greater than. The other side is less than. If I read it, it says y is greater than. So therefore, I need to shade the greater than section of the graph. And as you can see, your answer is where they have that the two of them overlap and is much darker. So you can shade it a lot much darker, as dark as possible, or erase the piece that you the unnecessary shady section. That's up to you. Check for understanding. Solve the system of inequality by graphing. Y is greater than -3/5x plus 3, and y is greater than or equal to 4/3x plus 2. Solve the system of inequality by graphing. Y is greater than -3/5x plus 3, and y is greater than or equal to 4/3x plus 2. Let's remind ourselves of the steps. The first one, I'm going to make the top negative because only one could be negative. Either the numerator is negative or the denominator is negative. So we have y is greater than -3/5x plus 3. Y is isolated, so I'm going to take my y-intercept and put it on the y-axis. That locate the slope, which is -3/5, which means down 3 and 5 to the right. So 3 down and 5 right from my y-intercept. So I'm going to go down 3 units and then I'm going to go 5 to the right, place my point, use a straight edge, double check is greater than, so therefore I need to use a broken line. If that was a hillside, my little man will be walking down this side. That makes it the greater than and the other side the less than. Let's read it. Y is greater than, so therefore I need to shade the greater than section of the graph. Let's graph the second inequality. Y is isolated by itself, so therefore we're going to look for the y-intercept, and in this case is 2, and we're going to place it on the graph. on the y-axis. Then we're going to locate the slope, which is 4/3, which means it's going to be 4 up and 3 to the right. So from my y-intercept, I need to go up 4, and I need to go 3 to the right, put my point, and it's greater than or equal to, so therefore I need to use a solid line. If this was a hillside, my little man would be walking up the hill on this side, so that makes it the greater than, the other side the less than. So it says y is greater than or equal to, so that is the side that needs to be shaded, the greater than sign. And as you can see in the top piece right there is darker because that's where the overlap. You can shade it super dark because that's your solution, and erase the unnecessary pieces, because the only piece that really should be shaded is the super dark section. Okay. Please subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell for whenever I post new videos. Like and share my videos. If you like what you saw in this videos, please buy me a coffee. It's not mandatory. Thank you in advance.